Got trading that Shackles part. I didn't like them too good. Sure appreciate the singing and thank the Lord for these who have come and sung. Turn to Revelation 14. Revelation 14. We'll look tonight at this thought. Facts about faith. As I so often do when I think about a one-word subject or any kind of subject, I look at the Bible and try to determine when this subject was first mentioned and the last time it was mentioned. And I looked up the word faith. I was surprised to find out that the word itself, faith, is not found in the Bible until Deuteronomy 32, verse 20. And it surprised me also to find out not only did it take that long for that word to be mentioned, surely there's faith before that, but the word itself was mentioned then. And I was doubly surprised to find out when it is mentioned, it's talking about someone having no faith. So it has a negative start as far as the word, but it has a good end. And we're looking at that. Last time the word faith is looked at in the Bible, chapter 14, verse 12. Suppose that if I said that to these people who it's written to, they would say, "Preacher, are you crazy?" It is not in a positive sense to us in some regard, but then they could also say it's the one thing that's keeping us alive another day. It's the one thing that's keeping us from committing suicide. Sure sounds serious, doesn't it? It is. Notice in verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Last time the word is found in the Bible is this verse. And it is speaking about those who are enduring the horrible time of the Great Tribulation period. It is a time that this world has never seen, an almost indescribable, incomprehensible time of horror in this world. I've done that. I've gone through that in the book of Revelation. You probably have looked at it yourself. All the things that are happening in this world, I'll say the word again, indescribable. You cannot comprehend the horrors. And in the middle of it all, God says to His people who are here enduring this time, have patience and have faith. Have patience, it's what it says. Here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus Christ, of Jesus. He says really three things. Have patience, have faith, and the tough one, keep the commandments. Keep doing right in the middle of horrible situations. It is here to comfort those believers. During the tribulation period, they're going to need some comfort. And this verse tells us that God says, have patience. In other words, He is saying a lot of things, but He's saying one thing in particular for my thought tonight. It's going exactly how I said it would be going. None of this shocks me. None of this surprises me. Could I take that to our day? There's enough going on today that I would label bad, bad, bad. That I would say we need what's in this verse already, and we're a long way. I don't mean in in length of time, but I mean as far as experience. We're a long way from experiencing what they are going to experience. But I can say tonight, we need patience and we need faith. We need help for now. And God says to us also, encouraging us, that it is going to be okay. I'm going to make things right in the end. Right now it seems like nothing's going your way, believers, Great Tribulation believers. But I want you to believe faith. Matthew 18:6, Jesus said that if any offend one of my little ones, it would be better for a millstone to be hung around his neck and he to be thrown into the sea than to hurt one of my little ones. And that fact, that truth will be true of the tribulation saints. That is one thing they can gain faith of. My God said He would make it right in the end. He is not overlooking, He is not ignoring what I'm facing, what they will face then, what we're facing now. We can be sure, we can believe, we can have faith. God is going to make it right. It's to comfort the believers, but it also is to encourage them. It is also to warn them. In essence, He is saying, I am running this the way I said it would be. I am in control of all this chaos you're having to endure. And I am encouraging you to keep walking and keep trusting me and have patience and just trust me. But I am also warning you, you do not have the right to strike back. The rest of the Bible is not ripped out just because they're living in the tribulation period. Just because they're going through all the horror and the mistreatment of the Antichrist and all that's going on, that does not mean they can exclude everything else that God has said. What do I mean? Well, one verse in particular. Jesus also said in Matthew 26, verse 52, all they that take the sword shall perish with the sword. In other words, He is saying from that verse, and I'm taking it into the tribulation saints and saying, you can't strike back, you can't fight for yourself, you can't, in other words, here's the word, trust God. That's faith. The last time we find the word faith in the Bible, He is talking to people who are suffering, and He is encouraging them, but He's also warning them, you do right, or I'll have to deal with you. That's applied to us tonight also. What are some facts about faith? The Bible says in 2 Corinthians 5:7, for we walk by faith and not by sight. Walk has the indication of movement, of stepping one step after the other. It has the idea of progress. It has the idea of going somewhere. The implication is faith is not something we need when a problem comes only then. Faith's not something when things really get bad that then we must trust God. Faith is something we are to live out daily. We are to live in a constant state of faith, of dependence on God, of believing Him. That is walking by faith and not by sight, living life day by day. Did you hear what it said? For we walk by faith. It is what carries us, or should carry us from day to day, moment by moment. More than that, we walk by faith. It is what's controlling us. It is what keeps us going. It is what helps us to make it through another moment, another day, and yes, another problem. That's called faith. Believing and trusting God. Could I say first, faith is belief. And you say, well, preacher, we figured that already. Well, let me expound a little bit. Faith is believing God and what He says. But I want to say this also. Faith isn't only, now I've got to back up. Real faith and right faith and the kind of faith that God tells us we are to have and live by, be controlled by, that kind of faith is not believing only. For instance, I can tell you tonight, I really believe, I am convinced, I mean, I know it's going to happen. While I'm preaching, there's a unicorn coming to my house with $1 million in its saddlebags, and it's going to drop that $1 million off of my deck, and when I get home, I'm going to find out I'm a rich man. Now, let's say I really do believe that. Well, I have no facts. I have no reason to believe such a foolish thing. So faith is more than just believing, because people can believe anything. I have talked to some of them, and they say, I don't believe what that says in the Bible. Here's what I believe. Well, it doesn't matter what you believe. If what we believe does not line up with the facts of the Bible, we have no reason to think it's true. Now, I'll be honest, I doubt if that unicorn's on the way. And I doubt if I find $1 million. Because you know why? Because that's not true. That's not a fact. But what you find in that Bible, listen to me, what we find in this Bible are facts. And that's what faith is, believing the facts, believing the truth. God does not tell us to just believe in a whim, just accept by blind faith. Oh no, He says, look at my word, look at the facts, look at what I have told you, look at what I say, and what I say you can believe without any shadow of a doubt. It is true. Make sense or not, agree with it or not, it is true. Faith is belief, believing what God says. This Bible says that God is God. I believe it. This Bible says that God created the earth. I believe it. This Bible says God sent His Son to die on the cross. I believe it. This Bible says if somebody will repent and believe, they'll be saved when they call on Him. I believe it. I did then. I still do. That's what faith is. It is believing the facts. Now, the Bible's full of things that God has done and will do. That's the facts. And we can believe them. But we better be cautious about thinking about what God will do for us. Let's say there's something you're wanting, something you're praying about, something you desire. I have a question. What if that is that you are praying for, that you desire, that you hope for? What if it isn't God's will? What if it isn't something He desires? What if He knows if He gives you that you desire, it will be the worst thing that will ever happen to you? Well, I'm telling you, all your belief and all your faith and all your expectancy of God giving you what you want will do no good, because He knows what's right and what's best. So faith, one fact about faith is this: God, I believe that you know best. And when I pray, I add with my prayer, Lord, your will be done. Here's what I desire. It makes sense to me. I believe it would be good. I ask you for it, but I know by faith it's more than just belief. It's knowing that God knows best, and He will never violate His nature just to answer our request or give us what we desire. Let's say tonight I go haywire, which won't take much. And I think, I believe God knows I've worked hard and I've been a pretty good person. I believe He wants me to go out and just throw a good drunk. Well, now I got a question. If I pray about that, what you reckon God's going to tell me? So believing, I believe I've worked hard. I believe I deserve a break. I believe I deserve to get drunk. Well, my belief is, faith is more than believing only. It is basing our belief on what God is, who God is, and what this Bible says. That's the Bible fact. He will never violate his nature. No matter how much we believe it, if it isn't his will, he will not do it, and he's right to say no. Faith is belief, but not just belief. Let's say I do go out and get drunk. And tomorrow morning, after I get through my hangover, I start praying about the services at the camp meeting, start praying about the service for next Sunday, start praying about what I'm supposed to preach, start praying about the law, start praying about this surgery, this need, that need. Do you think God's going to hear my prayer? Now, am I praying? Yes. Am I believing? Yes. But he won't answer. You know why? Because sin's in my life. And this Bible says, one of the facts about this word and the Lord is, he will not answer the prayer of the person who has unconfessed sin. In fact, he says their sin will be an abomination. So part of the facts of faith is, I know if there's sin in my life, he won't hear me. And I can believe all I want to, and I can cry all I want to, and I can beg all I want to, but until I get that sin dealt with, he will not hear me. Faith is belief, but more than just belief. Faith is not only belief, but faith is confidence. We're talking about walking by faith, making progress. One step after the other means you're going somewhere. You are no longer where you're at. And we're going to make a progress tonight in this thing called faith. Faith is believing, but also faith is confidence. That means we are trusting him. That means we believe faith. He is able to do what he says he can do. And we place ourselves and our needs and our problems at his feet, and we place our confidence in him, that we believe faith that he's going to do it, that he's going to answer. You see, this thing of faith, again, is more than another problem, got to pray. Another need, got to pray. It is a walking day by day, moment by moment. It is an attitude of belief. I got a new insight on this thing of walking in the light when I prayed about this and said about this. I believe a part of what the Lord talked about when he said those that walk in the light compared to those that walk in the darkness, the light, I believe, at least a portion of it, is to walk in faith, to have an attitude of believing God is working, God is doing, he is moving, he is answering prayer, he is working on my need, he is taking care of the situation. It is the attitude of believing and expecting, anticipation, as opposed to walking in the darkness. Oh, things are so bad. Oh my, I don't think it could get any worse. Oh, I know God can answer, but I'll tell you, it's so bad. I know God has before, but I'm telling you, this is a bad one. You see the difference between walking in the light of believing and expecting, an attitude of knowing God is working. I may not see it yet. He may not have answered yet, but he is working on it. He is actively moving in dealing with the need, as opposed to, oh, it's so hard. It's so bad. Nobody does. Nobody cares. That's what I'm talking about. Faith is confidence, expecting God to work, knowing he is working when I don't even see it. And when you have that kind of attitude, you read the Bible differently, and you pray differently, and you'll come to church differently. Coming expecting, reading expecting, praying expecting, living day expecting, being aware, believing, expecting, anticipating. God's working, God's moving, and it doesn't just change what's going on out there, it changes what's in your heart and your mind. Faith is confidence. Number 3, faith is reliance, making another progress. We talked about faith is believing, faith is confidence. Now faith is relying. Do you hear that stress? Do you hear that exertion of the word relying? depending on, you are relying on Him. You depend on Him, rely on Him for everything. Every moment, every deed, every need, every problem, everything, every breath, you depend, you rely on Him. Again, you're believing the facts of the Bible, what it says about God, and He can. He has done it in the past, and He can do it again. Faith says it's going to be all right. Especially when you face something that's difficult, when you're going through a dark spot, when you're really under the gun, when the weights are heavy and problems are bad and things look gloomy, you can look to the Lord and hear Him say, it's going to be all right. That's relying on Him. Hearing Him whisper, I've got it under control. No matter what you see, no matter what you feel, no matter what your brain thinks, I have this under control. Rely on me. Rely on me. Put your confidence and your faith in me. You see, you probably don't know this, but thoughts can overwhelm you. Thoughts can absolutely send you in chaos. Yank you around like a rubber ball. Thoughts can be so overwhelming, so discouraging, so disheartening, so hard. They can make you fear. They can make you angry. They can make you dread. They can make you miserable. Not only the thoughts that the devil plants in our mind, he can't read our mind, but at least somehow he can plant thoughts in our mind. And those thoughts, if we dwell on them, if we don't resist them and reject them, immediately they will destroy our life. But not just the devil, ourselves. This old fallen nature with this cursed mind, we will think like Moses for a chance. He thought, I can't do that. I can't go and talk to Pharaoh. I can't go tell Israel that my God told me for them to get ready, we're going to break out of here. I can't be the leader. And man alive, with over 2 million, I understand why he said it. Oh, I don't know what I'd do with 2 million in Sunday school. I sure would like to have a little bit closer to that. But I'm telling you, there's no wonder Moses said, I can't. But listen, that still got a rebuke from God. He said, who made your mouth? These thoughts, whether it's from the devil or from ourselves, faith says, resist that stuff. That ain't so. Your God is able. Your God knows what's going on. You reject those lies of the devil and self and trust me. Then number 4, faith is assurance. Going a little bit further, get a little bit higher. Assurance means we expect it. We're counting on it. We're expecting it any time. It means that you trust Him so much you are expecting. Again, not just when the problem comes, daily life. You get up for a change expecting something good to happen. Or if something bad happens, you expect, you are assured, you know if something bad happens today, my God's going to help me. And it's going to be all right. Assurance. Faith is assurance. That means there's a trust, there's a reliance, there's an expectancy on top of expectancy. It hasn't been long that I prayed. And it's like the Lord said, now these are my words, there's no doubt. But what He said was, you do know you're not alone, don't you? You do know you're not facing this by yourself, don't you? You know what that did? It changed my outlook about what I was praying for. And here's the word, it assured me that it's going to be all right. That my good God was taking care of that was burdening me down so desperately. And all of a sudden, I got some help because of faith in Him and what He said to my heart that were true, what was factual and true. It is assurance. Faith helps you to expect, to trust, to know. You realize He is present with me. He is walking with me through today, and especially this problem, this issue, this need, this thing that has come up. I know my good God is with me, and I can trust Him. He's trustworthy. He's trustworthy. He's dependable. It gives you assurance. And by the way, this helps us to wait. Ooh, that's a 4-letter word. Because especially when we're having problems, we don't want to wait. We want it fixed now. But God, the good God, who knows what He's doing, knows there are times when He needs to wait. I'll give you one example. God is speaking to His man, and He's talking about Israel going into the promised land that God had promised them. That's a promise. It's something you can count on. You can depend on. You can expect. But to this point, Israel had not gone into the promised land. And here's one thing God said. He said, the sin or the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. Now what that means is God, when He moved Israel into the promised land, there were people living in the promised land. Now, they're living right, those people, and they're doing right. It would really be wrong for God to run them out. It would really be wrong for God to have Israel go in and kill them. So God tells His man, it isn't time yet. Keep waiting until the iniquity of the Amorites is full. Then it will be right for me to judge them, and it will be right for me to use you, Israel, to go in and use you to judge them. But right now, Israel's having to wait. Now, here's my point. With the issues we face, we have no idea what God's doing. There's more involved with the situation than just you and just God. There's other things involved. There's other people involved. There's things you may not even know what God is doing to accomplish what you desire. But until He gets those things done, He cannot grant your request or your desire. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the timing isn't right. That means we got to wait. And while we're waiting, we got to believe. We got to trust. We got to be, here's the word, assured. God is working. I don't see one bit of evidence that God's answering my prayer at all. But I know that He is. I know He's working in the right way, and therefore I can be assured. I can trust Him and rely on Him and rest in Him. There's another key word, resting. Could I get to this point? Can I back up? The things of trials and troubles and burdens. Not only are we to be assured that God's working with all our trials to help us believe and trust Him, but that should make us appreciate our trials. Promise you, the greatest things God has ever done for this preacher came on the heels of something bad. When He took me down, when He broke me, when I came to the point to where I realized I am helpless. I am helpless. And then from that broken state, He assured me He's in charge. It helped me to rededicate. Remember the verse in Revelation? Not only believe and be patient, but do His commandments. It helped me to reestablish myself to be willing to do His will. So all that being said, as difficult as it might be, faith will bring us to the point to where we say, Lord, I thank you for my trials. Count it all joy when you fall into diverse temptation, knowing this is the trying of your faith worketh patience. Oh, listen, this thing of faith is so big. I'm talking now about faith as assurance. Now let me get back to where I was at. It talks about assurance. And I talked about when we are praying or when we're having a need or we want things to improve daily by day. Oh, and it doesn't, and we wonder why. Assurance means cast your care on Him. That's what faith means. Cast your care. Here's what the verse said. Casting all your care upon Him, for He careth for you. That's where the word assurance comes in. We are assured it is in His hands now. It is not my responsibility. I have given it to Him. And that's exactly what He says to do and what He wants us to do. And if we're smart, that's what we will do. I can't handle it anyway. God, take it. And now I know it's really His. My responsibility, sure, to obey Him in the process, but it's His problem. It's His dilemma. Oh, listen. Then lastly, number 5, faith is devotion. We have made a progress from believe on up to now. More than relying, now a devotion. I am yours. That verse in Revelation says to those tribulation period saints, one thing you're going to need in that trial is that you must stay devoted to me. Whatever I tell you to do, do it, or you're going to make matters worse. And that's exactly the truth of us in 2025. Devotion. By faith, devote yourself to Him. In other words, Lord, I'm yours. I don't know what's going to happen, but I trust you. I believe. I will need your help and your strength and your desire just to do your will. But Lord, I trust you. I believe. Oh. And devotion, the thing about devotion, when you believe God and you give yourself to Him, it's amazing what God does in your heart. And how that faith that started out little, all of a sudden it is something you are walking with. It's something you carry with you. All of a sudden your outlook really does look different. It does look like you are walking in the light. You're not looking at the gloomy side and the bad side. You're looking at the God side of it. He's working. He's God of my life. And what I'm facing, devotion means you give yourself to Him. You see, faith is more than just believing. It's more than just trusting. It's more than relying. It's more than depending. It's more than it is faith. Real faith does something. Here's how James puts it. For as the body is without the Spirit, as the body without the Spirit is dead, so faith without works is dead also. Now his point was, if you claim you have faith and you don't show it by works, I have a right to believe that your faith is not right, not real. Because real faith makes a person do stuff they didn't used to do. If you don't doubt that, look at me. And by the way, if you doubt that, look at me. If you doubt that, look at yourself. You don't do what you used to do if you're in faith now. If you're saved, you do different. You know why? Because that faith's inside. The faith of Christ. He's done a work in you. And devotion means, Lord, I trust you so much. And I believe you so much. And I know you love me so much. And I know you always do right. Lord, I give you myself. I don't just believe you're going to do for me. I want to say by faith, I want to do for you. I want to be what you want me to be. I want to walk the path you want me to walk. You see, the internal work of faith now has to produce an outside work of walking with God. And that's exactly what it says in Revelation, to obey His commandments. Faith, believing, trusting, relying, assurance, devotion. It will change our outlook. It will change our life. It will change all of us. Everything about you. When we come to the point to where we say, God, I believe you. I'm trusting you. I'm giving you my all. Now, let's stand together with no music or playing. Maybe there's somebody that wants to come pray about something. I want to give you that opportunity. You may want to